You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the October 14th meeting of the LaPorte County Regional Sewer and Water District Board. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Calling to order the meeting of the LaPorte County Regional Sewer and Water District for October 14th, 2022. Let's salute the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the
Republic.
stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
You want me to do it?
Somebody's got to do it.
You want me to do it?
Sure.
You've done it in the past.
John Carr,
Here.
Marcella Kunstick,
Here.
Jerry Jackson,
Here.
Mitch Bishop,
Present.
Delia Zegas,
Present.
Mark Danielson,
Present.
Amanda Laners.
Present.
Everyone's here.
Everyone's here. Okay, approval of minutes from July 26, 2022.
So move.
Make a second.
We got a motion and a second to approve the minutes for July of 2022. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor signify by the word aye.
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 Nope.
Roll call.
We're going to do roll call.
Vote.
Sorry. Okay. I had to break this down. John Carr,
Aye.
Marcella Kunstick,
Aye.
Jerry Jackson, Mitch Bishop,
Aye.
Delia, Mark,
Aye.
Amanda.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Approval of minutes from August 23rd, 2022.
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes from August 23rd, 2022. Any questions on the motion? Jennifer, can we proceed with the roll call vote?
John,
Aye.
Marcella,
Aye.
Jerry, Mitch,
Aye.
Delia,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Amanda.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay, next item on the agenda is public comments. Statement, anybody wishing to speak needs to state their name and address for the record, and we'll have 3 minutes to speak. Are there any public comment?
No one's
Anybody online?
here. Anybody online?
Well, it's a couple hot loading.
Comment?
GJ has a hand up, I think, maybe.
Uh,
Is that
That's you.
No.
That's you. That's you.
Okay,
Alright.
no public comment.
No public comments.
Public comments closed. Reports, Steve Carter, Claims and Finance.
Okay, we have August financials. End of the month, August, for Rolling Prairie, $10,671.63. Paid out a lot of the reimbursements during August, so that's why you see the balance going down there. All of that $10,671.63 is in Horizon bank account, which has been reconciled. For the toll road service area, ending balance 8/31/22 is $454,808.40. Of that amount, $252,165.62 is in the Hoosier Fund, and $202,642.78 is in the Horizon checking account. Again, both accounts bank reconciled, and I have copies of those with me. Claims are what were presented several weeks ago. They have not been updated for any new claims have been received. Those will be processed at your next meeting. Claims totaling $63,631.16. I think that of the copy that you have, there was an adjustment made from the Chrome bill to move 1,100 $1,210 of that to the Hudson Saugony SRF. Part of it was for the asset management plan, part of it was for SRF. So that those claims, if you wish, can be approved, but they're not going to be paid until we get financing. So that would leave $885 to be paid today under the toll road account.
So that's your recommendation?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the way it needs to be paid. The bottom number is still the same, but processing will be just like how I process the rest of them.
Are there any questions for Steve?
And just so you know too, Barry will start going forward. He'll have a separate invoice too for his time with the Hudson Saugony. And I already talked with Barry about that, and he'll do the same. So there will probably be 2 different invoices coming from Barry as well.
Okay,
Great.
thank you. You need a motion?
Yes, please.
So move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims and finance report. Are there any questions? Jennifer, can we proceed with the roll call vote?
John,
Aye.
Marcella,
Yes.
Jerry,
Aye.
Mitch,
Aye.
Delia,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Amanda.
Aye.
Let's have it. Next on the agenda is Asbury Water Technologies July and August report.
Chris Woodward here with Asbury. Everything was going well at the plant. We did receive third chloride last week. I'm scheduled to haul sludge at the end of October, the 1st of November. We will also be pulling aerators in the different tanks. We'll have to get a truck out there to actually winch them out and get them cleaned up and put back in. That'll probably happen at the end of the month also. Don't have any headway on repair of the roof. We're still looking.
Mark, did you give us a quote? I called that one place twice, and I haven't gotten a return call.
Really?
Yeah, I was waiting to see if you got any
I haven't gotten
response
anywhere.
on that.
Look at it.
I'll go ahead and make sure that I have somebody from our office give you a call.
Would you please?
And if we do, I'm assuming, Chris, you want to go ahead and look at both buildings while you're there?
Yes, at the very minimum, we should repair, if it takes just some caulk or something like that to get it through. I mean, I think ultimately the boot on those pipes need to be replaced. At the very minimum, something needs to be go up there and caulk at least for the winter.
Well, I'll have somebody come up there, take a look at it, and we'll those gutters need to be cleaned.
They were.
Oh, you did?
They were done because I got the
Oh, okay. You
bill
did?
for it, and that'll be presented next month.
All right.
So they must have been done.
I told him to do it.
Were they done, Chris?
Yeah, I believe I don't see the sticks sticking out of the gutters anymore, so I believe they have been cleaned.
Okay. All right. I'll have someone from our office give Jennifer a call.
Please, that would be great. I also have the quote, should be in your packets, from Peerless Midwest, the one that you talked about last meeting, Chris.
Yes, the
Received
check
an
valves.
email after our meeting last month from Peerless.
Jennifer, is that something that we need to have done?
Yeah, that
Okay.
was the check valves that we talked about last month that Chris wanted.
And the check valves to have on the shelf because I believe it's a usable item. At some point they will wear out, and rather than order, when they break, there's probably a 6-month lead time. So at this point, there is probably a 6-month lead time to get these check valves. So the sooner we order, the better.
And that seems like a good and fair price, Chris. You saw the estimate.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think there's only one supplier of that thing, so yes.
Okay.
So move.
Want us to make a motion?
Second.
We got a motion and a second to approve the quote from Peerless Midwest in the amount of $662.50. Are there any questions on the motion?
Nope. It is.
Jennifer, can you do a roll call, please?
John,
Aye.
Marcella,
Yes.
Jerry,
Aye.
Mitch,
Aye.
Dahlia,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Amanda. Aye.
Ayes have it.
Chris, do you want to get a hold of them, or did you want me to?
I'll contact him.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to JPR.
Nothing much other than what I put in the report. We sent out the collection letters and everything, and working towards that information. I do have further down on the phase 2 update.
Green gold belt. Maybe going back.
What is that? Is that if we want, the period for a connection is up October 1st, and I don't know if you guys want to extend that or not.
Have you had any come in lately?
Just a couple. We still have some that are still needing to connect.
Yeah. Send it to the end of the year.
I counted stuff earlier today, and based on what I saw in our folder on records for approved inspections and whatnot, it looks like we have 85 connections made out of 117 connections in the system.
Okay.
So we are still waiting on a handful.
Well, I guess, Barry, my question would be to you: if we extend it, are we going to have to do this every time, or
Well, can you all hear me?
yes?
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
I think it's up to the board. It's not about it's not about when they can hook up. It's about when we extend the reimbursement plan, I think. So if the board chooses to extend till the end of the year, there's nothing that would preclude you from doing it beyond that date. I think at a certain point, you need to just say, well, you can certainly come into the system, but we're no longer going to do this reimbursement plan, because the concept was to get this done and wrapped up, certainly, I would think, before the end of this calendar year. And I'm not sure either Dan or Steve or Jennifer will know, but what time period do we run into to where we can no longer utilize the money? There is an end, in other words, to when we can spend this money that we got.
Right. SRF is somewhat flexible in that, as long as you have a plan. They want to know that you do have a plan to close out their grant. I'm working on one right now where we have just finished remaining funds on a project that was completed in 2018. So, but you just have to keep them updated and posted on the use of those funds. So,
yeah, so Mark, I think it's really up to the board how long you want to grant this reimbursement program, and relatedly, how long do you want to have this grant open as we enter into, whether it be the next meeting or the meeting after this, approving a bond anticipation note for the next program? I mean, in other words, does the board want an overlap of programs and financing and accounting? But you can do whatever you want. It's just those are the things I would be thinking about.
So we're looking at about 32 that are left. Is that correct? 32 left to connect.
And Dan, are all those reimbursable connections, or are those property?
Those are phase 2 connections, so those are reimbursable connections.
Okay.
Are you good to put in?
Me and some of the.
Oh, okay. I know. Okay.
Monday morning with them.
Okay.
Need them.
Probably you guys.
There you go.
I have a question.
Sure, Dahlia.
Do we know what's the reason for people not hooking up? I mean, is there something like no access to contractors, or is it just they're dilly-dallying and just taking their time?
I know one gentleman contacted me, and his mother had passed away, and he's taken over the property, and just found out about the bill and the connection. But that's one. I don't know. I think we talked about doing the letter, and I can do that. If we extend it, I don't know. It's up to the board.
If we extend it, though, it should go way beyond December, because no one's going to be doing it too much in the winter, is it? So we gotta.
That's not necessarily true. I mean, as the weather's still available, people can still connect.
I could be mistaken, but didn't we already extend it 90 days?
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
I'd make a motion that we extend it to the end of the year. And then we notify who we have to, and this is what our plans is, and see if they have any objections, and if not, go ahead and move on.
And after December, no reimbursements will be cut off. Is that what we're going to go with? Okay.
That's my motion.
Extend connection to the end of the year, and the reimbursement program
ceases end of the year.
To the end of the year as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So both of them.
And that's the final, right?
Yeah, we've already extended it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
So there's a motion and a second to extend the connection and reimbursement period of 2022. Are there any questions on the motion?
Yeah.
Jennifer, roll call vote, please.
John?
Aye.
Marcella?
Yes.
Jerry?
Aye.
Mitch?
Aye.
Delia?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Amanda? Aye. Okay.
Is that it for the phase 2 update?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything other than that, other than our asset management plan. I believe that was forwarded over to Steve Carter to handle the managerial and accounting sections several weeks ago. I haven't heard an update on it. Steve, do you have an update on that section of that report? I think Josh Wyman forwarded over to it.
Yeah, and it's been sitting with me for quite a while, and I apologize. No great reason other than dealing with projects that needed to come first. So it's next week and the week after I'll be focusing on things like this. So hopefully get it knocked out soon.
Thanks, Steve. So
okay.
With any luck, then we'll probably at the next meeting have your thought process on that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a model already set up, and it's just a matter of getting all the data in. And I believe I have everything I need from JPR to complete that part of it. So hopefully, like I said, here in the next week, I can carve out some time and get to it.
Thank you.
So,
and Steve, if you could send that to me when you're through with it, that would be awesome.
Will do.
So
thank you.
Put that on the agenda for the next meeting we have, I think on the 24th or 25th, I think.
Well, if Steve needs a couple weeks to get through it, then I'm going to need some time to look at it. It might be the November meeting, Jennifer.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it might be in draft, but at least we can take a look at it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I do want to give that in draft first to like JPR and you, Barry, so we can have a review process, and then I'll take those comments and make revisions as necessary.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
Good to move on to PER?
Per.
Okay. Hudson Saugony.
Yes.
This one.
One of you tell us.
We don't have a bond ordinance in BA. I mean, we don't have that, do we? If we do,
I think we're going to talk about doing it. Isn't that what
Right.
you guys want to talk about? Steve and Randy are working on it.
Okay.
I think the best thing would be, Jennifer, why don't you just go through the project timeline and the dates when we have to have things done?
Okay.
Or I can lead that if you'd like.
Yes, if you want to lead that.
Yeah.
Sure. So we've had some coordination meetings with Steve Carter and Barry and Jennifer and other JPR people that we're looking for introducing. Let's see. Got here. I'm sorry.
And last time I talked to Randy. Sorry. Last time I talked to Randy, which was, I think, earlier this week, we discussed having a bond ordinance available for consideration and adoption at the next meeting, which is the 25th.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I don't have the timeline in front of me, but we were looking at basically a month after that to get the note closed.
and Steve, or either Steve or Ken, just for the board and the public, maybe just a short little explanation of why we are doing the bond anticipation note. In other words, what the note covers versus the ultimate financing from the state and USDA, et cetera.
Sure, I can cover that. So the project itself is estimated between $30 and $35 million, but it is a lengthy process, and JPR and other professionals are going to be spending a lot of time and incurring bills between now and the time of closing, which is probably at least a year from now, if not a year and a half from now. So we're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood, if I remember right, of $3.5 million or so of a note. It's a short-term note that will be taken out by the long-term bonds to cover preliminary costs such as engineering and other professional fees.
Thank you.
And then as far as the note itself, I was looking at the timetable here. I may have to, I was discussing with Jennifer and Randy earlier this week, depending on what interest level I can get through the local banks here, I may have to take this to a third-party placement agent to get a buyer. I'm just not sure what the appetite is at this point for a note of that size. It is a fairly large note for a small bank to take on, but I will see. And that may push the timetable back a little bit, but not a lot.
Are you talking, Steve, are you talking delaying months or days or weeks on that?
Probably a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Very.
Next meeting's in. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I have some input on that. It is pretty important to advance that. I know that, we have approved the hiring of Randy Rampola as the bond counsel. And have we approved yet, Jennifer, his engagement letter?
Yes, it was signed and approved, and I sent it to him.
Okay, so there's nothing in the way for him to proceed with preparation of the bond ordinance, and so we do not have that on today's agenda, though, correct?
What do you mean?
The bond ordinance.
We do not.
No, I would anticipate it for the next meeting, Ken. Randy and I have talked about the parameters, and I'll follow up with him again next week to see if he has any questions. But I would anticipate him to forward to me and to Barry a draft of that prior to the next meeting, and we can get it cleaned up for adoption at the next meeting.
Yeah, I'm going to work on scheduling a meeting conference call too next week with everyone.
Okay, so but that's not gonna delay your activity, Steve, relative to contacting the local financial institutions to gauge interest in issuing the loan.
No, I can begin that process and start putting those feelers out. If there's anybody on the board that has a contact, I mean, I think I'm covered with Horizon. That you have a contact that might be good to get a hold of, just pass it along to me, and I'd be glad to talk to him about it.
We might have some information on some lenders that have participated in our recent projects that were of the same size.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. And obviously, we do too internally. I just need to. I don't know how many of those are going to be in the region. I mean, we can go pretty much anywhere in the state, but I would like to start local, and I think that's normally what we do. But again, this comes back to if it gets to that point, it's probably just advisable to hire a placement agent and have them do that legwork, and it's well worth their fee. And we can't really. From our end, we can't really make those recommendations. I mean, we can make the recommendation to the board, but we can't make the decision. It has to be the board's decision. So having the third party actually insulates us a little bit from the SEC standpoint. So that's just something I need to discuss internally on our end and see what makes the most sense.
As I guess the important part there is that we still move forward with closing in November. I mean, we can't have that delay another month or two bringing in this outside consultant, can we?
Yeah, I think 30 to 45 days from now is a reasonable timeline.
Okay. Okay, Steve, maybe we could reach out to the lenders that we've had here recently on some of the larger ones that we've got funding for, and provide those contact information to Steve.
I will do that.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So do we need a motion or something from the board to move forward with the bond ordinance preparation and ban?
I don't think so, Jennifer. We've approved the contract with Randy Rampala to do that work, so I think
and
we've essentially approved the preparation. The next thing would be to approve the ordinance itself.
Okay. We also need to approve, the next thing is JPR's contract.
Correct.
Okay. And we approved Steve's contract too for the rate stuff, right?
Yeah, our contract, I believe, was approved back in March. So we're good to go from our
We had a
end.
separate contract for this stuff, right?
That was for all of the Hudson-Saucony stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now,
It's included. All this work here that we're talking about today is included in that.
Okay. But then there's a separate, if you have to bring in a third party though, right?
Well, the
Or is
way I
that part of your
understand it,
contract?
Jennifer, is
Not here
he's
yet,
going to talk amongst his people and then make a determination, hopefully by the next meeting.
Yeah, and the third party, they charge what's called a placement agent fee, and it's just a percentage of the total. It's not a contract per se. It's just a fee that they add on to the financing.
Okay. I didn't know if that was in your contract or that was separate. Okay. All right.
So, John, I think the next thing would be the JPR engineering contract.
Okay. Did you have a chance to look at that, Barry?
I did. I don't have it with me in my
75 pages.
son's basement location where I'm zooming in, but I did look at it, and as I think Ken and Jennifer know, they sent me the, I think it was 70 some odd page document. I read through it. I actually had a couple tweaks that they then incorporated into a modified draft. And so I have reviewed it. And, you know, although I can't speak in terms of the dollars involved, I can certainly say that the contract is fairly standard, fairly detailed. And in terms of the fees, I mean, certainly this board's history with JPR has, in my opinion, been nothing but good. And so obviously we've chosen them to carry us forward for Hudson Saugony, and I see nothing in that contract that would prevent the board from approving.
Yeah. So I can give you just a kind of high level review of the contract and why it's 70 some pages. This is what's called an EJCDC contract. This is probably something that Mitch is accustomed to seeing in Public Works and certainly Jerry, and is specific to the requirements for the funding agencies that this particular document format be used, especially when we're dealing with the USDA. And as you know, we have two funding resources in this project, trying to maximize the benefit of both. So the project contract amount is based on all of the various things that JPR is going to have to complete in preparation of the design, and it also includes a construction phase group of services where we will be providing contract administration and project field review. And so the total is what we probably want you to approve and then authorize John's signature in a motion. And so the total contract amount for the project is $4,220,000. And we would probably, I don't think we have a copy of the full document there today. Jennifer, do you?
Yes, because I asked Amanda and she was so kind to print it off because I forgot.
Okay. Okay, good. So we would be looking for a motion to approve that and then authorize John's signature in the contract.
What's the project estimate?
The project, the capital cost of the project overall is right in the $34 million range, and that includes the non-construction cost budget.
I was just running a percentage because while that doesn't say everything, it's, you know, kind of tells you, you know, if it's typical, right?
Yep. Give you a gut check.
Yep.
So is it, Chair?
Well, still punching here. Wait, there we go.
Okay.
That puts us at 12%. Does that sound right, Ken?
Yes, it does.
That would be a little high for a straight line sewer job for a low pressure sewer around the lake. Does that include inspection, Ken?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's fine. That fits the goal. Yep.
And one of the things that just so you know what's included, and there's multiple tasks that are included in here, including the in a project like this, we typically are going to procure right of entry or permanent easements from every single property owner. We will be, in some cases, procuring easements for mainline routing. And then for the main lift stations, we will be doing a fee simple acquisition. And all of those acquisition and easement acquisition tasks are included in our fee. That's kind of somewhat time consuming. It's one of those things that we do as a matter of practice. That way we can keep that within our project schedule, and we're pretty good at it. So that's one of the things that's adding to that percentage, is that specific task that you don't normally see in a sewer project. So, but
my project manager here at the treatment plant did that for about 50 homes on Pine Lake, and wow. So yeah, that is a lot of interaction with the public.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that is it is, and that, the benefit to that we found in every project is it allows us to have dialogue with the property owners and bring them along to a higher level of understanding of the project. What the impact is going to be to their specific property. And, we just came off of a project. We're actually under construction for a project in Kosciuszko County where I think, Steve, I don't know, what did we do? We met with probably close to 80% of the property owners, and there were over 2,000 of them. And there's a lot in this project too, but we expect to have that kind of contact. And that really actually ended up being a good result for the district, because property owners really would be difficult for them to say they didn't get their questions answered. So that's one of the benefits of that. So, and of course, throughout the project period, we hold ourselves out there as a primary contact for the property owners. When they have questions or concerns, we invite them to contact us. So
I guess for the board's benefit, we would look to folks like Jerry and Mitch. Sounds like Jerry is saying that the fee falls within the reasonable category, and they would know better than the rest of us who don't deal with this on a more regular basis.
Mitch?
Yeah, the addition of I guess I didn't see that portion, the project rep, the additional cost. That's usually something that I haven't used in any of my projects. So usually the inspector will do a lot of that work for us. So I really can't speak to the project rep because I never have used one. And it's $750,000. Like you say, that's I have no experience with that. Most of the jobs that I do, the engineering firms, and this is most of the work I do is with state and federal funds, and usually try to get the engineering fees about 18%. But there's a lot more paperwork that goes along with that when you deal with the federal funds. And there's a little more I's and T's that need to be crossed and dotted. So it's a little more time consuming. But for this project, and you said, what percentage was it? 12, 13?
12.
And that includes the inspection services, which usually those range. Now, if you're doing inspection services on a federal job, and perhaps they're 12.5% of the construction costs. That's your inspection services. Again, that's a lot of paperwork that's associated with that, taking dailies and everything else, and it has to be approved by NDOT downstate, everything. So there's more work associated with that. However, other projects like our sewer project on 300 North, its inspections like 2%, 2 or 3% of the total construction project. So yeah, like I say, it's probably fine in my opinion. It's just I never used the representative services there throughout the project. That's different to me. I had no experience with that.
And one thing that we should say about the RPR services is that there probably will be up to 3 people assigned to the project full time. We'll have 1 at the wastewater plant and probably 2 in the collection system. And then, of course, under construction, we'll have, the project engineers, Steve and Dan, will be overseeing those tasks and then managing the contractor's contract throughout. So our role is pretty complete. And although it's not within that, the complications relative to dealing with the state revolving loan fund, as you know, from experience in Rolling Prairie, can be cumbersome. With USDA, it's even more so.
Right.
So it's a challenge for sure. But
how many full-time inspectors do you anticipate?
Yeah, we do this work over and over again, so we feel pretty comfortable.
How many full-time inspectors do you anticipate working?
3.
3 full-time inspectors, and then 2 reps.
The project representation will be the 3 of us that are on the phone with you right now.
Okay.
And then we'll have others that will be assigned to the easement acquisition tasks. During that period, we could have multiple people assigned to that project. because it's time sensitive, and we, we're going to launch direct contact with every single property owner, and so we overall, I don't know, Steve, we may have up to 8 or 9 people assigned to this project at any given time.
Oh, at least that many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the manpower?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We're geared up. Why? Are you looking for a job?
No. 100. Yeah. Well, I know you got other stuff to handle too. And I don't know.
Well, I was
I
gonna
don't know
say,
how many
we got
sewer
open-
water guys you got in your staff there, Ken.
So yeah. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of overview, and this information is updated to you every month. We'll provide a complete report. So.
All right.
And Ken, do you remember off the top of your head how many homes this is going to encompass?
Around 1,100.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Oops, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other questions on the contract? Any recommendations from the board?
I move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of JPR's contract. Are there any questions on the motion? Jennifer, roll call, please.
John,
Aye.
Marcella,
Aye.
Jerry,
Aye.
Mitch,
Aye.
Delia,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Amanda.
Ayes have it.
Well, one point, we don't have that, whatever the total was, sitting in an account somewhere, and we just issued a contract or just approved the contract. So JPR is working at the at their risk until our ban passes. Isn't that correct?
That is correct.
Correct.
Yeah. And you're okay with that?
It wouldn't be unusual for us, Mark, to do that.
Right.
Okay. I just wanted to double check.
Yep.
Okay.
I just gotta have enough money to pay Jennifer's Christmas bonus. That's all I'm in for.
Much
And
deserved.
my hair and nails, don't
Yeah.
forget that.
Well, keep Jennifer paid. That's what, whatever happens, keep Jennifer paid.
Please.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay, moving on. Survey crew letter and hang tags.
Yeah, I just wanted to
I sent you guys.
let the board know what we have. They're in your board packets. The letters are really made to be handouts, and we also went ahead and made some door hangers too. And in fact, in the last week we've had this week we've had a gentleman out there
I emailed them.
basically putting the door hangers on everybody's door.
I didn't bring
And
those.
we have started field work out there. That's why we wanted to give notice that there will be survey crews out there working over the next several months.
Okay.
Hey, on the topic of notice, Barry,
Take care, guys.
How much is
when is the appropriate time for the district to notify
the notice?
the property owners in accordance with the rule that they intend to do a project out there?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I would think, again, they've tinkered with the statute that we kind of had to deal with in the last project with regard to litigation.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the language is no more specific, interestingly enough, Ken. So
And letters.
I guess it seems to me we would be a little, number one, that might be a discussion when we talk to Randy Rampala next. He might have some perspective during the bond, because, we have notice in the bond process as well and the rate process.
Right.
But my gut, and I'm happy to be have anybody on the board or any of the consultants disagree, but it seems like we're pretty early in the process, meaning we have not passed a BAN, we have not gotten SRF approval of a specific dollar amount, we have not gotten USDA approval of a specific amount. I mean, this project, although we're a long way along, is far from a done deal. So I'm not certain. I mean, I wasn't thinking yet, but I was thinking about that. I actually jotted in a note in the sideline of the timeline that JPR had been working on about statutory, a little arrow that said statutory notice. So maybe that's a conversation, Jennifer, if we have a meeting with Randy at some point, maybe we could pick his brain, because he does obviously bonding work for public works projects like this more frequently than any of us. So might get his perspective about when he might suggest we give notice.
Yeah, I was trying to get a meeting set up last week, but it didn't happen. I'm going to try to get one set up this coming week with him, so I will get that completed.
Hey, Ken, in our last two major projects in Tippy and Whitley County, both those attorneys decided that the time to provide that notice was within 10 days after the IDEM construction permit was submitted.
Okay.
And, you know, per our schedule, I think that would be sometime in fall of 2023, about a year from now.
And I would feel pretty comfortable following that that tactic because of the fact that both of those guys have some deep experience in rural utility districts. Yeah. Both of those attorneys.
Yeah.
So why don't we
put it on the screen?
I think that's appropriate. So Barry, one is Andrew Botsberger from Carson LP. Super guy. If you call him, he'll be glad to speak to you about it.
I think I've spoken to him back when we were starting on the phase 2, Steve. And he was a great guy. Nice guy.
Yeah, that's right. That does ring a bell, Steve. That's exactly when we did it, because then we could say that, hey, we are doing a project. So
was that when you applied for the permit or received it?
Like to the home.
Applied. They interpreted the statute, and again, I'm not an attorney, but that they felt strongly that the wording was within 10 days of, you know, some. It wasn't specific in saying the IDEM permit, but they felt that the IDEM construction permit application was that time frame that they needed to provide notice within. Okay. So we kind of timed that up. We had the letters ready to go, and we sent them out like within a couple days after we actually submitted the formal permit application to IDEM.
And Steve, if you wouldn't mind maybe inserting that as an additional bullet point in the time frame that we're working on, just so we have a good belt and suspenders reminder to all of us, including the board, since we did have a less than pleasant pushback experience on the last project.
And speaking of that, off topic here, it appears that IDEM has done some practices and policies adjustment relative to their response to those types of appeals.
Yeah.
And so if the board remembers, you know, we tortured ourselves through a whole year of trying to get that cleared for Roland Prairie, and we just went through one that was even more contentious, that was cleared in how many? It was a matter of weeks, was it?
Yes, well, it was just over 90 days, but that was, there's some new people in place there, and it appears that, especially some of these projects that are funded by State Revolving Fund, they're getting involved, and they've helped speed up that process instead of dragging it out forever. We got it done in 90 days.
That's good news.
Yeah.
So,
And one of the things that the one thing that is good about the way we reach out to property owners is that engagement. I think helps them get through it and understand it. So, like in that one where Steve was just mentioning, it was fairly contentious. At least it started out that way, but in the end, we had nearly 90% of the people who signed the right of entry to allow us to come on their property and build their connection. And then down in Tippecanoe, Chapin, in Kosciuszko County, it was even higher. It was closer to 95%. So, and I think a lot of it had to do with, the fact that we don't cut corners on communication with the property owners. So,
do you anticipate buying any or purchasing any easements, temporary or permanent easements for the project or land acquisition?
From the property owners, we do not routinely compensate for the property owner's connection easement, where we might place a grinder pump station,
right,
and that kind of a thing. That is typically something that we will help the board understand why we think the value of the sewer is far exceeds the value of any easement that you would acquire for that purpose. For mainline easements where we're not providing service to a property, so like we have a transmission main or otherwise, we typically do compensate the property owner for that,
right,
and we follow the Uniform Relocation Act to the letter when we're dealing with that. And then any fee simple acquisitions, like in this case, we'll have pump stations that we'll have to, sites that we'll have to acquire, the same again.
Right.
We follow the URA to the letter, and we make sure that the trustees are making appropriate decisions under that rule. So, but those would be compensated, those types of acquisitions. But the individual property owner acquisitions, we routinely we actually do an analysis that shows the trustees that the value of bringing a sewer connection to someone's property far outweighs what we would ever be able to pay them for an easement.
And being in the toll road, a lot of it's in the toll road right away.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, so that'll hopefully avoid some of those additional costs.
Yeah, that mainline easement down the toll road is a big help.
So basically, on the survey crew letter and the hang tags, it seems like we have a game plan and what direction we're going to go at this time.
As far as the routing?
Yeah.
No, but right now what I'm understanding is we're going to talk to Randy and others and keep that in the mix. And what I see with the letters, that they're fine, but I think we should let them take a look at it. And the timing of what I'm hearing from Barry and others, it may be next year about this time, correct?
Yeah, and I was just looking at our schedule. We would be anticipating to submit our permit application to IDEM in August. So within 10 days of that date is when we'd be sending out that notice letter.
Sounds good.
Notice to provide service.
I was just trying to move on a little bit.
Sure, understood.
Yeah, and just to be clear, Mark, I think JPR is probably going to send the letters that they proposed and hanging tags already. The statutory letter we're talking about will have a little bit more legalese to it, and I can't remember whether it needs to be sent certified, but that's probably not a bad idea. So that's a different process altogether. It's
okay.
This letter that you saw now is what the survey crews and stuff will be out right now. Handing out and putting on the doors, because people will start seeing them and they're like, what are you guys doing out here?
No.
So this letter gives the homeowners information and lets them know.
Just as long as Barry and everybody else is aware of it, I get goes back to more communication, and it's not going to be an issue for us. It's notifying them, which is a great thing.
Also,
yeah, absolutely, Mark. I think the more notice we give, the more. I mean, if they end up getting, 4 or 5 different notices and letters from us, great, awesome.
Also, I didn't put it on the agenda, but one of the other things I've been working on is the guy from our office, Mike, is putting on your website, because it makes reference in the letter about the website, is a separate, tag or column, whatever, about the Hudson-Saugony project.
Perfect. More information out there.
Exactly. More information with the timeline, the PER, and updating that area. So when they go to your website, there's a specific portion for that information.
So are we looking for a motion to approve the survey crew letter and hang tags? Is that what we're looking for right now?
I don't know that you need that.
No, I don't think you need a motion at all. I think it was more just informational.
Okay.
Fine.
All right.
Let's move on.
Anything else on that?
That's okay.
Okay, moving on. Nothing for executive committee or engineering committee. New business.
Right.
Next meeting, October 25th, in person and Zoom links.
I have a conflict, y'all.
I plan on attending.
Okay. Just make sure you have that.
What time?
Yeah, let's make sure we do have 4 people though on the board that can attend in person.
And is it still going to be at 9 o'clock?
Yep.
Okay.
That's when
What day is it?
October 25th.
Tuesday the 25th?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
2 months before
Just
Christmas.
everybody let me know if you're not gonna, anyone let me know, please.
Aren't you retired, Mark, and could meet at any time now?
That's why I was the first one to say yes.
Yeah.
If we need someone to do extra work for the board, I can think of someone that has more time now.
It is all called vacation time too, Jared.
One of the things that we were talking about is what we do on other projects. If we have, now that we're going to be ramping up on a lot more information with the Hudson-Saugony going, is having a pre-agenda meeting. And so we might need to start doing that. Steve, if we want to start having those, are we ready to begin those at this time?
I think so. There's enough activity going on. And one other thing I noticed, I'm glad to see that you have your engineering committee. One of the things we've done recently on other projects is put together certain guidelines and policies about how we're going to do the project, how we're going to provide service to the customers with grinder stations, where they might be located on the property, how we're going to provide electrical power to them. We just feel it's good to get those policies set right on, because when we start meeting with property owners, then everybody's telling them the same story about how the project's funded. So I would expect in November we might even be ready to start discussing some of those general topics with the engineering committee, and then we would come to the board to present kind of the final recommendations.
So you're saying a pre-agenda in general and sometime in November, or the next meeting?
Well, pre-agenda, I think we should start immediately. I think engineering committee would be an as needed, and I'm saying I think the engineering committee meeting, we'd want to probably hold something in November or December at the latest to start establishing these guidelines for grinder station service.
So pre-agenda meeting, we would probably want next Monday or Tuesday prior to the...
Can we do it right before the meeting, or do you have to have the agenda?
I think doing it via Zoom is probably
Right, that's all we would need.
convenient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all we need.
So you're saying the pre-agenda is going to be part of the board's responsibility?
Well, no, and we don't need the whole board. We would
It'd probably be executive committee more than anything, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, we only need like John and Marcella. We just need president and treasurer.
Okay.
Okay, I was just trying to get what we need.
Right, and then we would have Steve and myself, and then Barry, and then Steve Carter and Randy.
Okay.
That's all we need. I have it right there on the.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah, of course it does. You'll just give us a heads up, Jennifer, right, when you wanna.
And I would just schedule a Zoom meeting like the Monday or Tuesday before the board meeting.
Okay.
And we would just continue that every month prior to the regular board meeting.
Okay.
And then every month we would do that same thing. We would all know what we need to get to me and what our jobs were so that we have it ready for the board packets that Thursday, Friday before we send out the board packets.
All right. And then the engineer meeting committee, you guys would probably want like Mitch, Jerry, correct?
Yeah. Whoever's on the engineering committee, I'd have to refresh my memory. And I will get that set up for a meeting in November.
Okay.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
The other thing is, do you guys, I'm going to probably get the schedule for 2023 set up for the room.
Yep.
And you guys are still good with the fourth Tuesday of the month?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any old business?
Please. That's all.
Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any questions? Jennifer, can you do roll call, please?
Yep. John?
Aye.
Marcelo?
Yes.
Jerry?
Aye.
Mitch?
Hey.
Delia?
Aye.
Mark? Amanda?
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Thank you. Have fun.